everyone, and welcome to the Daily Blu. I'm Karin Caro with an exciting show talking about fashion and vintage clothing. I'm here with Dominique Maciejka from PaperDoll Vintage Boutique in Sayville, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Karin.
One of my most favorite subjects is clothes. As anyone who lives with me can tell you, I have a lot of clothes, and I love keeping clothes because I think that it's going to, I'm going to wear it again. I'm one of those that doesn't throw the clothes away and match it years later with something else. And you have started a store just about 2 years ago, correct?
Mm-hmm, just a little over 2 years ago.
Okay, that really supports bringing back style, bringing back fashion, and supporting the arts.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in ways, dressing yourself is kind of an art form, and what goes around comes around. So a lot of the vintage clothing from generations past have come back again, and to get a really unique style, you can mix and match vintage with contemporary and get a really unique, one-of-a-kind look.
I love seeing your models out because they really make people stop and stare. And you have done things that are through the years. I've seen 50 style clothes and 70 style clothes and Chanel and just really quality but beautiful collections. Do you look for a certain type? Or
well, thank you very much. I do look for items that really speak to me. I've always had an interest in unique, one-of-a-kind clothing, and the items that I mostly specialize in terms of vintage are items from the 70s and older.
Okay.
Sometimes we get designer pieces in. Other than that, we also get pieces with no labels whatsoever. A lot of the department stores would get things commissioned specifically for the department store. A lot of people handmade clothes back in the day as well.
Right.
So I look for just things in really good condition that are wearable and also just classics so they can be worn today and look unique, not old.
Okay, so obviously, or maybe you're using great skincare, but you're really young and you have managed to build a store and this community involvement at your location that people just love what you have. I'm dying to get in there. How did you start this? And so young, it's incredible.
Gosh, well, I've always kept people in my life. I don't like to disconnect with anybody. I always like to see the best in people. So I just always like to, keep in touch with old friends and everything. And over the course of time, that's really built up my community and my friends. I went to Smithtown schools. I worked at a bar in Smithtown,
really?
Katie's in Smithtown. I know a lot of people from there.
A lot of vintage stuff going on there.
A lot of vintage stuff going on there. Yep, and I know a lot of people through the store as well, and I know a lot of creative people, and everybody who's kind of into creative performance art and things like that also kind of gravitates towards the vintage clothing as well.
Sure. Now, did you have a liking for vintage clothing as yourself? And tell us if anything that you're wearing, turn my phone now, if anything that you're wearing is vintage.
I absolutely had been drawn to vintage clothing since I've been a little girl.
Wow.
I used to go garage sailing with my mom. We used to go around looking for antiques because that's what she really liked. And up around 12 years old, I started getting interested in clothes and how I was dressing myself. And that's when I started finding the unique pieces when we would go out, which happened to often be vintage.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I got into it. In terms of my own outfit, right now this is a vintage blouse. Other than that, the rest is kind of contemporary but art inspired. This is a Keith Haring shirt to kind of celebrate the art shows that we're having at the shop right now.
Right. Well, I love that you mix the old with the new. I try to even do that in my house, and I wish that I could do that more with my own clothing line. So I'd love to come in and hear
absolutely.
some tips
if
and
you need
everything.
any help, I would be happy to help you.
I would love that. But tell me a little bit about how you mixed this passion for the arts that you spoke about with the fashion and the industry with the clothing.
My main customer is already very unique. It's somebody who's looking for something that nobody else will have, that wants to stand out, that wants to look different, that wants to have something one of a kind.
Right.
And that often overlaps with people who are either artists or appreciate the arts. And so I figured having art shows in the shop would just add another dimension to people to creating that community that we have and all that network of the friends that do come and model and participate, as well as people who come in to shop might also be interested in buying a piece of art.
Yeah, it's remarkable how you've brought brought those two communities together, and I think that a lot of designers that I've noticed are really creative, and they're actually really good artists. So
yeah, we've had a lot of like fashion designers come into the shop as well and buy things to reissue in modern versions of it as well. So
I love it. So I have to ask you, because I can't wait to come to your store now. I'm like going to go there today. But tell me some of the most some of your favorite pieces that have stood out, like you just are holding something and say, I can't believe that I have this. This is awesome.
There's this designer from the 70s that I really like, Kiki Hart. She used to make a lot of scarves, but every now and then she had a couple of dresses. So we have a metallic silver dress by her, and we also have this dress that's a simple maxi dress on top, but on the bottom it has a silk scarf print on it.
Wow.
And it's a very bold, asymmetrical, unique print. What else? We have a pair of Mason Martin Margiela shoes that have a clear wedge, and they were actually in the Metropolitan Museum of Art for their punk exhibit not too long ago.
Wow.
And there are the whole array of Whiting and Davis bags. I love them.
Who is it?
Whiting and Davis. They design like the metal mesh bags. They've been around for over 100 years.
Wow.
And we have a span of their bags ranging from the turn of the last century through today.
Wow. It almost seems like, you're also putting the history spin on it, which I love. I mean, I
love the history.
I love that you have that. I mean, just thinking that you could be wearing something and it could have been at a concert or somebody had a great memory, and it's just kind of cool thought, I think.
Yeah.
Now, do you also sell a wide array of accessories?
We have a lot of accessories. The Whiting and Davis purses are accessories, as well as we've had some jewelry by them. We have a lot of jewelry, purses, shoes, scarves, sunglasses, different items like that as well to mix and match.
Okay. So Dominique, tell us a little bit about some of the events and things that are coming up at the store or that you're involved in.
Well, we just had our own fashion show celebrating our 2-year anniversary in May. So what we do for that is we usually have a model representing every decade from the 20s through the 90s.
Love that.
We also participated in Sayville Summerfest, which we had a fashion show that debuted our new line of clothing, which is contemporary made vintage style. And we just had our first art opening yesterday, which had an amazing turnout. All the artists were so talented, and we had over 150 people coming. And we look forward to our next one next month.
Okay, and you're going to have one on, September 5th?
September 5th is our next opening from 6 to 8 p.m.
Excellent.
And there's going to be several artists in that show. This one we had 29 artists that all backed our Kickstarter.
That is excellent. Now, your mom was an inspiration to you, obviously, with looking for antiques. Is she involved in the store at all?
She's just a huge supporter in the store.
Wonderful.
She has definitely developed my interest in like art history and antiques and finding appreciation in things that are old. And now we call them vintage instead of old, because once you appreciate it and the history, then it has a different realm to it.
Oh, I love it. Dominique, tell me what your dream goals would be. I want to hear what's next for PaperDoll.
What's next? Right now we just got the art shows going, so we're really excited about that. We're launching an e-commerce website. So from the brick and mortar store, we want to have also our products available online. We do have them available on Etsy at the moment.
Okay.
But once we get more of the retail merchandise, that way we don't sell out of all the things that would be vintage in the store, we could kind of mix and match both the vintage and the contemporary made through our own e-commerce site, and that way we could go global and not just be Long Island.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, I think that you're really an inspiration for young designers. I know my daughter has. I'm going to show her this interview with you because she's a young designer and aspiring, and I think that she would really look up to. And I think just for the young and women in general, you're quite a remarkable woman.
Yeah, you should bring her by the store.
I absolutely will. And tell everybody your address in Sayville.
My address is 23 Main Street in Sayville, and we're right next to the barber shop and Cafe Joelle. We're right in the middle of town. We're pretty easy to find.
Okay, and your website?
Our website is shoppaperdollvintage.com.
Okay, shoppaperdollvintage.com. Thank you so much for joining us, Dominique. Good luck with your art show. This is such an incredible way to get in touch with the community and obviously to bring artists and the creative people and fashion industry together. I love that. Thank you for joining us today on the Daily Blu.
Thank you for having me again.
And I hope that you'll come in with some fashions. Will you style me sometime?
Oh, absolutely.
Please? I would love that.
Yeah, I would love that
so
too.
Maybe stay tuned and I'll be wearing some of PaperDoll Vintage Boutique's fashions and some upcoming episodes. I would love that. Thank you everyone for joining us on the Daily Daily Blu. This has been Karin Caro with Dominique Maciejka, again from PaperDoll Vintage Boutique. Thank you for joining us.